Back 3.0 just so I could have a black sheet for it. Hey, Don.
What you got there?
My my red ambrotype.
Oh yeah, it was really beautiful, man.
Thank you. Yeah, I realize what I'm gonna do for the ones I send to you. I'm gonna actually what do you call it? I'm gonna do them like you would commercial. I'm gonna clean up all the little tiny stuff because print and whatnot is different than the actual thing. So I mean,
Sure.
it can look a little different.
Sure.
So
That's good. Sid, my man, is here.
What's happening, ladies and gentlemen?
whoop, whoop.
Sid's all dressed up like it's cold. Is it cold?
We got snow. There's a whole shit ton of snow out there. Woke up this morning, there's snow all over the place. Not ready for this. Not ready for this.
Is that Vermont?
Snow in October, not a good idea.
New Hampshire, southern New Hampshire.
Is that a New Hampshire shit ton or Arizona shit ton?
We got quite a bit considering I didn't think we were going to get anything, and it's
5 or 6
piling
inches.
up and
Oh yeah, but
yeah.
it's brutal here. We've got actually a few little wispy clouds up there, just screwing up the entire day here.
Ugh.
Is it in the 80s yet, Don?
Huh?
Is it in the 80s yet?
It's actually 84. So.
Oh, whoa.
Is that sweater weather out there? Is that?
Oh God, yeah. I've got everything heavy on. You know,
Get your coats out.
everybody's. It's cool everywhere. It's cool on the West Coast, I understand, or at least it's cool up in Oregon and Washington State. It's cool in Utah. It's actually cool in northern Arizona. But where I live, oh no. We're going to stay in low 90s for the next 5 or 8 days. So,
Goodness gracious.
so party at my house. How y'all doing?
Good. Pissing my computer off. My files are too large for what my computer likes to do.
Well, it's always the way it is, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
What's
How silly.
What's that?
Did that picture look more silly than good when I did all the
No, it
overlays?
looks great.
Yeah.
Yeah, much better.
I brought that blue down in it a little bit more so it wasn't so contrasty against his skin tone.
But here, I'll show everybody what you're talking about because it was up there on my screen. What Mark's talking about is he did something that we all like to do, and he went back to a earlier shot he had submitted before he really started thinking about making instead of taking, and then he redid it with some post. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, I got this. It's from Nuclei, I think it is. He's got some YouTube channels and stuff. He had a package of overlays and brushes for $57, and he's got, I think, 12 different videos where it's not just here's overlays and brushes, but he actually goes through different projects and shows you how to use them.
That's cool. Anybody read? Does anybody here get communication arts? Get that?
Used to. Used to. I think my subscription ran out.
Well, they used to put all their stories behind a paywall. Okay, so if you went up to the website itself, Communication Arts, and it's a beautiful site. If you went up to the site, you couldn't see anything except, hey, buy our magazine. It's pretty much it. They now have their articles are articles. You got real stuff going on here. Where was the thing that I read? Here's the magazines, and click on magazine. Yeah, I clicked on one of these. Is that what I did? May, June? No, but they have annuals that are really, really, really great, and definitely something to look at. Oh, here it was, down over here. So they got all these great little articles. Photography in the Age of Instagram is the one that I posted. It's really well thought out. It's very well written, and it's, you know, it's quite long. It's a big article. It's a magazine type article. So I would really recommend that you not only go and read this over on Facebook, but that you drop into comarts.com, and there's a bunch of really great stuff here to read. I don't know if these are like the stories from this particular issue that they're putting up, but it's a lot of fun. And they have a thing called the photography issue, which came out in August, and I have them all since I have all of them since 1991. Except that I do have about 4 that are PDFs, digital. I didn't get the hard copies, but I just ordered the hard copies. They're really, really fascinating. They also have this great photography gallery, which is pretty astounding collection of work. We're always looking for great work to be inspired by. Here you go. So some great stuff. All right, who's got something to share? Mark just shared his picture. Who's got something to share?
I'll go if nobody else.
Go
speaks
ahead.
up. So 2 things. So I had well, let me talk about the first thing that's sort of grinding my gears this week. So the college that I went to about 15 years ago, they got a special library donated. Gary Sampson, who was the chair of the photography department at the time, he worked really hard to get what became known as the Teddy Library. And it included up to, it was like 4,500 or 5,000 rare photography books and prints. And it was from one guy, and he spent his whole life collecting this stuff. And he had Edward Steichen's personal copies of Stieglitz's camera work. He just had, and just, you know, like prints from Imogene Cunningham and Capernegro and Sally Mann and Elliot, just it was just like, it became sort of like people that were taking master's courses and stuff, they would come to the Institute so that they could go in the Teddy room and put on these white gloves, and they would go through all these resources. Last year, the Institute, New England College, sort of assimilated the college, and the alumni just found out today that New England College is auctioning off the entire library. They're separating all of the stuff, and then they're just selling it all off. And so the news is starting to get a little involved, because there's a special alumni group that we have where we just got wind of this. And so everybody's starting to talk in an uproar. And it's just crazy. Like, it's just crazy that, like, the NEC has issued an official statement saying they're not in the business to oversee collections. And so this is what they're going to do. They're just going to take all this shit and they're going to sell it all off individually to auction. So that's got me all fired up this week. It's just like, how do you do something, you know, where one person who's still alive has donated all of this stuff, you know, and I know he donated it thinking that the Institute was going to last longer than it did.
So why don't they give it back to him and let him donate to someone else?
Because all they see is dollar signs at this point. Like, they can make all kinds of money off of this. It's crazy. It's totally crazy. So that's like flames have been shooting out of my eyes today. But I just wanted, like, it's heartbreaking. It's devastating to see, like, something like that treated that way. But I had a shoot last week with a musician, which was awesome. He's coming back next week, and we're going to actually do the little album cover. He's got a concept he wants to do. All right, let me share this. I'll share my screen.
Hold on, let me make sure you can share your screens. All right. There's a thing here that I've got to click. Wow, there you go. You can share screens.
And desktop and share. All right, and there's the people, and there's my folder hidden under this window. So these are just the kind of some samples and stuff. The first session we did was just sort of basic images, and then we're doing the album cover for the EP next Wednesday, the day after election. So we're going to lock ourselves in the studio and hopefully not pay attention to anything that's out there. So I've worked with this guy a couple of times. Almost to the day, 10 years ago, we did our first shoot. And there's an image from the right-hand side from 10 years ago. And so we wanted to do basically the same thing updated 10 years later. And so the first image I shot him, I just emailed him a little composite that was just like, here are you now on the left, and here is you 10 years ago, just to compare the two, which I thought was kind of cool.
Are they going to use this for any publicity, this piece, or is this just
I did this one more for fun. But some of the other ones, I haven't shown him everything yet. These are just sort of my personal, like he left the studio early, and so I just went ahead and processed a few that I thought were kind of nice. So just kind of simple stuff, simple black and whites. I did a couple of color shots. And he brought a couple of different outfits to wear. And he'll use this stuff for posters and social media and gig flyers and that kind of stuff.
local guy?
Local kid, young guy. Really nice. When he started 10 years ago, you could tell he was trying to emulate like other musicians, and now he's grown into himself and he's sort of figured out, his sound and everything. So it's nice to have watched him over the last decade. So it's kind of nice. We just did a bunch of stuff. He ran to get lunch for us, and so I was playing around with his guitar while he was gone. Just real simple. And then this backdrop, I get into this, like I want to be Annie Leibovitz every once in a while because she uses those beautiful Olifant backdrops and everything. So I found this stupid thing off Etsy a couple of years ago, and it's like somebody took a picture of one of her backdrops and then they digitally printed on this like jersey material, so it was like $35.
Yeah, what could go wrong there?
No. So I picked it up, and at first I thought it was really dumb, but I've kind of grown into it a little bit. So I just went to the company that makes it. I just ordered a much larger one because this one barely covers one person. So that was my cheesy.
My rental studio in New York was next door to hers.
I remember you telling me that.
And
that's awesome. Her stuff is incredible.
She actually had 3 spaces with 1 door. So, all the space, so what those studios are all old office buildings is what they are.
Mm-hmm.
But you walk into the place that I had that I use as a studio there. It was a rental studio, and you had like that 1 space. You opened her door and she had like 3. Forever down there. Never met her. I met her assistant a few times, but never met her. So
beautiful stuff.
But there'd be people there. 3rd floor, walk up, buddy. 3rd floor. These guys would come up and drag those big, heavy canvases down. She'd probably rent, I'd say 30 to 50 a day, would be going out of the building and coming back at the end of the day.
Yeah. She's I mean, what an incredible job she's got. I mean, her business is just, even now, she's just crazy.
Yeah.
So that was it. I just wanted to share these. These are sort of my initial pass that I do. I flag the ones that just immediately sort of catch my eye, and then I go back and.
So everybody's going to want to know how did you light them? What was because you've got this really beautiful, looks like a 1 light kind of thing going on.
Usually I started on white, and so that's just, I've got a light up and overhead and a little beauty dish. And then I've got 2 lights that are just aimed at the white backdrop just to kind of blow it totally white. And then on the floor, on the bottom, you see there's a little bit of a reflection.
What is your floor? Is that the same floor we saw, the brown floor, just getting the white reflection of the paperback?
No. So I bought sheets of tile board, white reflective tile board at Home Depot. And then to get in this new space, I sort of had to chop them up. But I have him stand on that. And the only reason why I have him do that is because I want that little shadow that shows up under his feet, that little bit of a reflection, so it doesn't look like he's floating in space. And so so I just drop a couple of tiles on the floor, and then he just stands there, and we do the stuff on white. And then for this stuff, I just moved the light up and over a little bit, and we just kind of took our time. We did a little shooting, and we caught up a lot, and we had lunch, and but it was just the same beauty dish off to camera right. And then I would just sort of, move it back and forth just to fine taste it a little bit. A little times there's a little too much shadow going on and you couldn't see enough of his face. And so I would just kind of lightly feather it or swing it around.
Sure.
And that was it. And that's what I've been doing for like the last year and a half or 2 years is I just wanted something real simple. I've been shooting a lot of the back of people's heads and putting their fronts in shadow. I just, I don't know. It's interesting, this new space that I've been in and how it's sort of changing how I've been working. And then like that one, it's just kind of just a simple, nice shot. I like that his tattoos are all in focus. I dotted it with a little bit of fake grain afterwards, just to add a little something to it.
Really nice.
Yeah, I thought it kind of works. That $35 backdrop, I was just like, oh my gosh, like it's growing on me. Like it's not as cheeseball as I thought it was at first.
And what camera are you shooting with?
These are a 5D Mark II, and then for this one, it was I've got a Mamiya 645D with a Leaf Aptus 2.7 digital back on it and stuff. And I still haven't gotten used to it yet, so I only take it out a little bit. The dumb thing about that particular back is because it's a little out of date, the internal battery on it that you set the date with is dead. And they put it at the very bottom of the back. So if you were going to change the battery, you have to basically open the back up and scoop all of the insides out to change this one battery. I don't have the technical proficiency to do that. And I've called Leaf, and I think they're way the hell over there. And to send the back overseas for them to open it up and replace a battery, it starts at $2,500. And I'm just like, okay. So I've got this dumb back, and I leave the camera running while I'm using my 5D, and then the battery it'll do auto shut off, but I have to keep changing the date when I turn the back on, because if I don't and I import the files, they get all confused because they don't understand what's going on with the dates.
So how did that design meeting go? Hey boss, I figured a way to get recurring income.
Yeah. We'll
put a battery in it that nobody can change but us.
I've had this obsession for a medium format digital back for it started with my Hasselblad, and I got a P30 for it, a phase. And that was just, I couldn't work with it. It just didn't work with my workflow. And it was just a piece of trash back. Like the sensor was nice, but the LCD on the back was garbage. So I sold that. And then luckily I got this nice 645 kit, and the quality is better and the screen is better. But it's still just finicky. It's like shooting, large format. It's like, man, if you even slightly miss a shot on a medium format, it's just gone. But when you do get it in focus, it's just like the angels sing and the sky opens up. And so that was with this one.
That's always been, it was like shooting the Hasselblad with the 80 millimeter planar 2.8. You think, oh, well, it's, I got some depth of field, it's medium format, and no, you don't. No, you don't.
No, not even. No,
you do not.
Yeah. So, but that was it. So that was just a few that I processed over the last.
That's really cool.
Days. And, yeah, simple and just clean, and I like the feel of the tones and stuff. And so usually what I do is I go in and I just do an initial pass, and I earmark everything that like instantly catches my eye. And then I'll mark those, and then I upload. What he's going to see is he sees a group of images that haven't been processed, but I've gone through and pulled out all the shots where he's, blinking or making weird faces and stuff. And then he can sort of pick from those. And then I have a second gallery, which are these. So I tell him, if you get stuck on anything, or if the images start to overwhelm you, you just let me know, and I'll give you this second link that is more fine. This is the stuff that I would pick. So he'll get those probably Monday or Tuesday. He might even get them after we're doing his EP session next Wednesday, where we're actually he's building a 15-inch square raised flower bed, and he's going to lay underneath it and put his face up through the center of it. And we're going to drop all kinds of dirt down, and it's going to cover his mouth. And then he wants plants and foliage and stuff inside the planter box. And then with wood letters, we're going to spell out his name and the name of the EP. Get some shots like that, and then he's going to take his face out, and we're going to cover it up with dirt, and then that'll be the back of the CD, and it'll have all the song titles in these little wooden letters and stuff like that. So that'll be fun. We're going to sit down and play. We're going to throw a mat, tarp on the ground, and just get all dirty, and it'll be fun. Let me stop sharing.
Like a blast.
Yeah, it'll be nice. It'll be nice after not doing anything like that for quite a while. So it's exciting. I'm excited finally. Feels good.
Sophie, you got anything? to share?
I'm downloading it now.
Oh, cool.
So just
I do.
somebody-
I have something. I have
Yeah.
something to
Oh.
share.
Oh, good, Carmen.
I have a few things to share, but look at Sophie right now. And I'll have, okay, I have the screen. Oh, there it is.
Veronica, Veronica, are you out there?
Hi, Dawn.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hi. Where are you calling in from?
I recently moved to Utah just over 30 days ago. So
How is it up there?
it's I was from California, so big difference in the weather.
Yeah. What part of Utah?
Murray. It's near Salt Lake City.
Oh, okay. Like
Yeah,
a
like
suburb
the-
of Salt Lake?
Yeah. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So I'm still getting myself situated, haven't got everything out, painting, things like that had to happen. Appliances arrive tomorrow. Yay.
That's great.
Yeah,
Well,
so
good.
yeah, by November, which is Monday or Sunday, I'll be starting to unpack photography equipment, all that other stuff, to get rolling.
Well, there's a lot of beautiful places up around where you are.
I know. it's
Never ends. Utah is spectacular.
gorgeous.
All right. Well, glad to have you here.
Glad
What
to
you
be
got?
here.
What you got for us, Sophie?
No, this is Carmen
Carmen.
sharing Sophie.
Wait a minute.
I got it.
Now I'm confused.
I know. I got inspired
Yeah.
by John D'Amato, and I just wanted to see the quality between doing a screen grab and oops, wrong person, darn. And taking her
Oh, there you go.
off the screen. So it was just a test, and what I didn't realize was like the quality of the video is what really kind of dictates the quality of the.
Yeah. The I don't know if you guys are using your I'm using the onboard iMac camera here.
Yeah.
But when I plug in the my iPhone and use it for this, it's actually, for my taste, it's too sharp. I mean, it's
I had to
pretty sharp.
this is a screen grab, right from the
Mhm.
screen.
Mhm.
I haven't figured out how to get rid of all of this. This was on Skype, but I had to play games with the one that came out of the camera because it was really saturated and the colors were not quite. I mean, the screen grab was pretty, looks like her. And if you look at your screen right now where she is, it kind of looks like her.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was one thing.
You get me twice tonight.
Yeah. And I have my, Jesus, I hope I can do this right. Oh no, I have to, and I have my friend Letizia, that she's always I can't find her on I may have to unshare and reshare. Hold on. Stop sharing and let me see if I can find her. This I'm not where are we? Here we go. Start sharing. Where? I don't see her anymore. Oh Lord. Oh, here. This is the outfits that she has worn in the last. I just double clicked. Can you see her full or not? Or are you just still seeing thumbnails?
I'm seeing thumbnails.
Okay, so I have to do it. I will get this. I will learn how to do this. Stop sharing. Share again. Good. These were the outfits for October. And here I was playing with that neutral density filter and dragging the shutter and having some flash. And that was another flash in town, new outfit. This background, I've got gifted V-flats from a local photographer that had moved here from Dubai, and she had a baby and didn't open her studio, and she had 10 4x8 foot V flats, 5 of them painted, and I went and she gave them to me. So this is the one that has black, and this is just outdoors with natural light, no reflector, and just the background.
And
Which
these
I
are,
thought was kind of,
you were telling me yesterday that they're really thick.
yes, there's 6 centimeters. So that's like a little over 2.5 inches.
And it's that real hard foam.
Yes, yes, indestructible.
That's neat.
Right. That is great.
Yeah. So, and then we're having this art show as part of the fall, and this is like within 30 feet of my studio. This is outdoors. It's a big plaza, and they're having street artists come in and paint them. So and we've gone into confinement. So today was our first day. So she came, I asked her to come in yesterday evening before we got locked down to have a shoot. So this was her outfit, and this is one of the art pieces, and then this is one of the shots from.
That's cool. So she's getting a little more comfortable around you, and you're getting more comfortable around her.
Oh yeah, and on this shoot, I tried the putting the video camera on the strobo frame with the mic. I haven't looked at the video yet. We'll see how that turns out.
Did you pick up one of those new frames, or are you using your strobo frame?
The strobo frame.
Yeah, you can't get those anymore.
Oh really?
I looked on Amazon. I couldn't find them anywhere.
Yeah, it was cool. It was like, yeah, of course. I can rotate my camera and have the thing sit up there.
I bought this one I showed you. I bought this, and the camera phone will sit up here, and then I've got 2 hot shoes here, or not hot shoes, but shoes here. I
Yeah.
can put a microphone in one. I could, do something else with one. I don't know. But it's really cool. It's very light. The whole thing is very light.
No, that strobo frame is quite heavy.
Yeah. Well, I used to have one. I used to have a strobo frame. Excuse me for a second. Hang on, guys, just for a second here.
Sid, do you have a strobo frame?
I have
Hold on.
something. Yes, I have. I've never really used it. I got it from a friend. I think I've done 1 or 2 like events where I popped it on there, and I've got a Canon.
Yeah, that's what it was for events.
on the top. Let me hold on. I'll go get it. Everybody's running away from the thing.
Yeah, I jury rigged something. Mike, you were the one that sent me that.
Yeah,
That camera
that's,
rig thing. Yeah, I
what do
had
you
jury
call it?
rigged something that Don says you're going to rip your hot shoe off your camera if you.
Oh, I saw that picture. I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, you need to get a cage. Because especially if you're going to do a lot of video, you can put extra hot shoes on it. You can turn it into like the Terminator. I've seen some of the guys, it's ridiculous what they hang off those things. But
yeah. Those, especially the ones that like you can put like 6 or 7 different flashes on.
yeah, but they're all, it's all modular, so all the weight is on your cage, not on your camera.
Yeah. So this is the one I've got. I think it's just a real simple one, and then I stick the flash up there. And I haven't used it. It's like I have a special section on my cart where it's like stuff that I haven't used in years, and it just kind of sits there. It's been hanging out. Every once in a while.
My strobo frame. That was the strobo frame, and then Mike showed me the thing, and I'm like, wait a minute, and then Don posted something, and then I'm like, wait a minute, that looks like a strobo frame. And I showed him, can I use that? And he says, yeah. I said, oh my God, I haven't used that in probably 10 years.
Yeah,
Easily.
yeah. I usually, every once in a while, I work with, like we have a local nonprofit that does like a farmer's dinner on Main Street, or I do some nonprofit work for a local independent movie theater. Whenever they do kind of like, they want me to just show up and take pictures of all the crowd and everything like that, I'll bust this thing out and I'll stick it in my bag. Yeah. I haven't even said the word strobo frame in years. Frame.
I put the link to that small rig for the 60 Mark II. And they've got some pictures where they've got Rode mics on it. They got an Atomos Ninja on the side. They've got, a handle. It gets ridiculous what you can put on these little rigs.
I was going to say, Carmen, I've got an iPad one that's rigged up like this,
Yeah.
and you can attach another one underneath it with a ball socket. So you've got two of them attached at the same time. So you've got your phone and your iPad. But if anybody's got a rig where they have, I need a boom arm. So because this attaches currently to my light stand and can kind of go this way and this way, but it doesn't go over my image. Like I need something that goes much further over the image, like an overhead camera, because I'm using my iPad at the moment a lot for hyperlapse so that I can show my BTS scenes. And this one has been sufficing, but it's not, it literally, it can do like that, but overhead it's very limited. I can't get it full over my still life. So if anybody's got a set that they have read or know of that will get a boom arm contraption of a stand further over, I'd be really interested to hear of it.
Like a regular boom arm doesn't work?
A regular boom arm is very heavy over the set, so I'm trying to like find something that's a little bit adaptable. So because this one fits I can use an iPad, a Nexus, and a phone with this. But as I say, the limitations are that it will go from this to this.
Yeah.
And will be held in my tripod, my stands. And I can put my phone underneath it here. So I get like a dual, I can have two things recording at the same time, my phone and the iPad, which is great. But obviously I just need something that will extend that.
You're using the RAM mounts, aren't you? It may not be the brand, but that's the type of mount. There's a link there, Anna.
Oh, thank
I put
you.
in for RAM mount. It's their camera stuff. They've got a 48-inch arm.
Oh.
So they might have what you know, or at least give you an idea of what it's called.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
Yeah, 24-inch mounts, 48-inch mounts. So yeah, they might have what you need.
Oh, awesome. Yes, that would work. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Cool.
That'll solve that problem. I
used to use those same things on my Harley. Every biker out there knows what RAM mounts are. Ask Don.
So I missed part of this. Anna bought a Harley?
Oh.
No.
Yeah, awesome.
The hover one.
She got a little fat boy with some high risers.
You're more likely to, I'm afraid I'm more of a Suzuki girl than a Harley girl, so you won't get me caught on a Harley.
My last ride up north, there were 6 guys with very custom Harleys, you know, like extended forks and the whole bit. And they were from the Netherlands. And every 2 years, they ship their bikes to wherever they're going to go and ride for 2 months. Now, apparently they've got more money than I do to do that. But last year or 2 years ago, they were in South America. And this year they just went up and down America for 3.5 months.
Wow.
Why would you not just rent a bike in America? If you're going to come to America to ride, you rent a Harley over there, surely.
They were custom bikes, and these were real, honest to God bikers. I mean, the leathers and the vests and the beards and the, you know, braided things over here. I was on a Kawasaki. They didn't talk to me much.
What is the average age on that group?
I would say mid-40s to mid-50s.
Okay.
They were not young. I never see young people riding cruiser style bikes ever.
Not really.
That's part of what's killing Harley right now.
Yeah. It's if it's a young person, they're on a Beamer or a little Kawasaki, Yamaha. What do you call them? Dual sports and things like that. They're not out buying the cruisers.
Oh, the cruisers are comfort bikes. That's why.
The Cadillac. the Cadillac of bikes.
Yeah.
When we used to
They
have,
come like with heated seats and handlebars, you know.
oh yeah, I just ordered handlebar grips that are heated. So yeah, they're for old guys who have, you know, lumbago or something. When I was in, we had our agency, we had a satellite office in Berkeley, and so we'd fly into San Jose and rent a car, and then go over the bridge to Berkeley to the office. And every time I would go over there, I would rent a Mustang convertible, because that was, I mean, I just really wanted one. And I got over there one day and they did not have a Mustang convertible. I said, we're so sorry. All we have is a Chrysler 300M. Do you remember those? Like, they're like big boats, big boat car. I'm halfway across the bridge going, oh, I'm going to get me one of these. It was so comfortable. It was so silent. Roll the windows up, you hear nothing outside. It's pretty cool. So, but no, I did not get one. Who else has to share something? Who else has something? Sophie, did you share already? Did I miss it?
No, I'm nearly there.
Okay.
I can be quick if you want, Don.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Maybe
Quick
we got
isn't
it queued
important.
up for you. Let's see, is that the right screen? That's the right screen. There we go. So I've been sharing these on Facebook. So if you guys bother to follow my profile, I guess it is, you've seen them already. But and some of them I even posted the Project 52 group. But this is the Stargazer lilies I've had in my basement for about the past week that I've been shooting over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
And this one is on red glass.
And you coat your own glass?
Yes, yeah. So this is collodion, and this collodion is UVP4. If you care about the recipe.
So do you? Let me ask you: do you reuse the glass? Like
yes, I do. Yeah.
So you do
that. If I don't like it, I wipe it.
Okay. If you do like it, what is your? Because I'm very fascinated what you're doing. Are you then photographing
one here
it on digital to have a?
So this, yeah. So I coated in the traditional Sanderac varnish. So this has been varnished, and it's only been about a day, so it's still a little bit soft. I mean, you could scratch it with your fingernail. Another couple days, this will be almost impervious. It'll be really tough. But so they get coated in varnish, and then yeah, I scan it. This one here, this is the large scan. It's untouched, really. The only thing I do is I apply a custom preset, Lightroom preset, to bring the color back to what I'm looking at in my hand. You know, because the collodion tends to come out real green on my scanner.
Okay.
So, you know, if we zoom in, you can see all the scratches and stuff from the you know, and some of this, like here you go, like these are comets. That's actually in the collodion, but you can also see all the dust and crap and everything. But this is what's amazing to me, Don. I mean, this is a 170-year-old process. In the detail it can pull out is just absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, here we can see. There you go. You can see the flecks of pollen. You know, it's just absolutely amazing. Blows my mind. And this is a 70-year-old lens too.
Have you ever seen Edward Sheriff Curtis's prints?
I may have, but I don't know the name.
Curtis was the first photographer out here in the West, and he traveled all through the Southwest, photographed the indigenous peoples. You know, it was really. He had a partner who was an anthropologist with him. Really cool stuff. His prints are unbelievably sharp. But the interesting thing was his assistants would tell about him at night processing the I don't know what they were, maybe ambrotypes or something, processing them in the Colorado River.
Mm-hmm.
And he'd look at it up, you know, like at the moon or something, or at the fire. And if he didn't like it, he'd just scrape it off And they were like,
Yeah.
hundreds of thousands of images just scraped off and swept down the Colorado.
Yeah. No, that's exactly it. And I mean, I'll usually let them dry to see if I like it, because
But that's not how us digital photographers would do. We'd save every plate, every single piece of glass, right? And that big warehouse, and then every weekend we'd go and like pull them out and go, I could do something with this. Why did I not print this one? Okay?
No, you know what's so neat about this is this is such an imperfect style of photography, and I mean, you cannot make a perfect plate. It's impossible. I don't care how good you are, how long you've been doing it. There's no such thing as the perfect plate. So I've gotten to the point where I tell myself this, and I've actually said this exact phrase while I'm shooting, is strive for perfection, but accept the imperfections. And that's what makes wet plate so wonderful. I mean, it is those comets and those little dots and these weird wavy lines you get and stuff.
When
But then
Annie
you have-
Leibovitz would go home.
Oh, but the definition.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
I mean, Mike, it's amazing.
It is. It really is. I mean, this is just absolutely wonderful. And I mean, I'm enjoying the hell out of it. This is me. And the funny thing is I finally come into this is me, to the point that I've actually considered selling all my Hasselblad stuff. I mean, that's how much I enjoy what I'm doing.
When Annie would go home, she would go home and she had an old wooden, it wasn't a Deerdorf, but it was a similar camera. And she would do, I imagine they were wet plates or whatever of her family. And then the lab in New York would take those and make 16 by 20 negatives that she would then do platinum, I guess platinum, where you take them outside in the sun.
Yep. Well, yeah, I mean, you can do platinum. I mean, there's a bunch of them, but yeah.
Yeah, 20-minute, 30-minute exposures in the sun of those 16. They are so breathtaking to see that 16 by 20 print that has, maybe 2 inches of depth of field. And it's Annie, so she nailed it. It just nailed it. The eyes are as sharp as they possibly can be. They're amazing portraits.
This one is a F11, and I focused on the edge of the petals, I think about here, if I remember correctly. And so the intention was the depth of field to be, this portion of the plant, and then fading out towards the tip, and so on and so forth. And you can see this was obviously right along that same plane, which was perfect because that's what I was hoping for. But yeah, I'm still blown away every time I see one of these. They just absolutely amaze me. But it's kind of funny you mentioned that, because that was what I was talking about before you actually started the program. Was I'm going to clean up, all of this, do frequency separation on all this stuff out here, and digitize it for prints, and also to be able to do digital negatives for platinum printing potentially. And then I'm going to have some extremely limited ones.
No. How would you do this traditionally? Would you then do a contact negative of it so that you can make a traditional print? Is that what they would do?
So basically, it's the exact same thing here. The only difference is I would have to intensify this to get the density for platinum. So the funny thing about ambrotypes is they're both a negative and a positive. The reason why they look like a positive is because your highlights show up as white silver, bright silver,
right.
But that's also where the most silver is, so it works as a negative. So if I intensify an ambrotype, I can use it as an actual negative for platinum printing. But unintensified, they're too flat. The light just burns right through it, and you get a really flat image. So
that's cool.
Hey, Mike, from start to finish, how long does this process take?
For a single image, 15 minutes, and then it's drying. And then, I mean, that's assuming that I'm just talking about, wiping the plate off and pouring it and shooting it is about 15 minutes, but there's a lot of prep work before that, and there's a lot of post afterwards. So it just maybe an hour, I guess, for a truly completed, you know, from start to finish. But yeah, I don't keep track of time most of the time. The only time I really pay attention to time is, like I said, when I'm working with somebody, I want to really try and keep that time as compressed as possible. So that's the only reason why I know that it's 15 minutes, is because in about a 2-hour time frame, I can get maybe 6 to 8 shots. And, you know, hopefully one of those is good. But yeah, it is not a fast process, but it's absolutely,
And which camera?
it's amazing. You know, it really is in my mind. I just think it's fascinating.
What camera do you have?
That is a Zone 6 8x10 with the Voigtlander Heliar on the front.
Okay, so you're tilting at the base too.
Yeah.
And when you
I
tilt at the base,
futz with it quite a bit.
yeah, quite a bit. Yeah.
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 Well, yes and no. I mean,
you said it takes 15 minutes to take a shot. It would take me 15 minutes to focus the damn thing.
Oh, no. That's everything's ready to go.
Oh,
that's yeah. No, I'm not talking about getting everything, the set up and the focusing and the. Oh no. You're right, Don. Add that in. It's hours for all this. I mean, that one plant I probably have 12 hours into, and I
want to say it was like the mid 60s before they ever made an 8x10 with center tilt. Everything is tilt. When you have center tilt, it's like way easier. Because
I've got an old Corona down there that's from 1923, and it's pretty much just, you know, forward and back. You know, you get your focus, and you got some up and down. I don't think it even has any shift. I think it's just up and down, and you can tilt the whole standard, and that's about it.
Cool. I got a question for you, Mike.
Yeah.
What direction are you wanting to go with the print stuff that you're doing? Are you trying to do more artistic stuff? Or are you going to try and do? I saw the one that you did with your wife and her friend dressed up in the costume and like the different portraits that you've done. Are you trying to get like old style portrait sessions going, or?
That's so good.
Yeah, I'm going. Yeah, I'm probably going to offer those on a limited basis simply because. I like the idea of people paying me to practice my craft, and so it's kind of, you know, and I like shooting people too. So I mean, it'd be nice for somebody to come in and say, yeah, I want, you know, a special portrait, you know, and do that. But you know, ultimately, I don't really care. Oh, here's one I intensified, Don. This is one that I actually did do the intensification. You can see where you can actually see stuff, you know.
Nice.
As opposed to if I hadn't intensified it, it would have just been very flat and gray. Well, that's a platinum. Oh, that's
a photographer in Nashville who wanted to change his life up from being kind of a commercial guy in Nashville, and these are super nice. And he started doing the processes. Are you familiar with Mark Tucker?
Oh yeah, he did the oh crap. He did the toilet plunger thing, right?
Yeah, they called it a plunger cam.
Yeah. Okay, there she is. Well, you know what? Nice. This, by the way, and I'm sorry, I meant to keep this short on you, Don, but you guys got me excited. I posted this in the I posted that picture of the Hasselblad in a Hasselblad group, and they just went bonkers. You know? I mean, and it was like, it's just really just a simple, straightforward image. I didn't think anything of it, but I was kind of testing out the theory of, you know your audience. And yep, absolutely. Know your audience and amazing things will happen.
Mm-hmm. If you guys aren't familiar with Mark Tucker, here he is, and he's doing all kinds of every kind of process you can imagine. He is commercial, does a lot of commercial work, but he's approaching it more now as fine artist commercial than he is I mean, he used to shoot for Johnny Walker, although, you know, Delta Airlines, that type of stuff. And now he's really pursuing more of an artistic flair to his work, and he's being successful. I think he's in LA now.
Oh, cool.
I'm not sure. Mark Tucker. Oh, he doesn't. Yeah. He used to do a website called My Day With. And what that was he'd go and spend an entire day with an artist or a musician or somebody, and then do photographs for the entire day. But he would take all his different cameras. So he'd take like digital photographs. He did a woman who was a conductor of, I believe it was the symphony there. So he photographed her. He shot on his digital. He shot on his 8x10. He shot on his Hasselblad. He shot on a Holga, you know, and the whole bit. And he would do these recordings of their chat and do this thing My Day With, and it changed his life. Changed his life. Some art directors from New York saw what he was doing, and boom, the job started flooding in. So sometimes you just got to make enough noise.
I would think with the portraits, since you like doing it so much and you do a good job with the portraits, and it's got that unique style that, like, people that have the money that want to pay for something that's not the same as everybody else's.
Oh, heck yeah.
Would be a great market and stuff like that, because it's so unique and there's not like, oh, I can just, my cousin with a camera isn't doing this. So
No,
I imagine you ought to be able to charge quite a significant amount for portraits with that style.
Yeah, I actually got a reference from a guy in Nashville, which is kind of funny. There's a couple here in Omaha that they're getting married. They want their portraits done. And so I said, well, I'll contact them. And I might have gave him sticker shock, but I'm actually going to contact again and offer them a free plate as long as they're willing to be part of my series, you know, because I want to take the picture. That's kind of the problem with being, I don't know, with having that artistic mindset. Taking it, making it is more important to me than getting paid for it. So I would rather make a photo of them, give them one as compensation for letting me do this so that I can put it in my book, put it on a wall, put it in a gallery.
Yeah, but you're in a unique position that some of us starving artists are not in, that with your regular job, you're not really worried about.
Well, no, you're right. You're right. That is a unique position.
I'm going to get off of here and go Uber so I can eat dinner tonight.
That is a good point. I have extremely.
You said an interesting word, positioned. You are positioned. If you're using that subject, those people to take a photo to add to your collection or a possible book. Now that is a whole nother business aspect where you could be selling that or displaying it in a gallery and increasing value to yourself. So it is value delivered.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And that's kind of how I look at it, you know, I mean, because the other reason why I like doing things for free or paying people with TFP, you know, giving them a photo, whatever, is it gives me a lot more latitude to do whatever the hell I want with the lighting and kind of push them around a little bit more because they're not paying for it, you know? And so it's a lot easier to go, no, I want you here and I want you looking this way and the light's going to be right here, whether you like it or not, because you're not paying for it. Whereas if they come in and they're paying me, they're like, no, we want to be kissing and we want the lighting like this and whatnot. And you kind of have to go, all right, fine, because they're paying me. But if I'm paying you with a plate, guess what? You're doing whatever the hell I want within reason, you know?
You have to build up a legacy of work before people will ever trust to pay you what you're worth.
Yeah.
And, you know, doing something like this, I mean, I'd be looking at probably at some point between $5,000 and $7,000 for a portrait sitting.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you know, you've got Herb Ritz.
Mm-hmm.
Herb died in, I think, 92. He was doing portraits of people in LA, mostly obviously the movers and shakers. His portraits were $10,000. $10,000.
Yeah.
And that's in the early 90s. $10,000 for a portrait setting. And he would shoot as many shots as he thought he wanted. You did what he wanted you to do because he was an artist. You didn't go to Herb Ritz and go, we want some pictures like my Aunt Sonia got. That's not
exactly.
Yeah. You just put yourself in his hands. So, and there are photographers doing that kind of work out there right now.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's a guy here on the Seacoast, and his whole deal is you go to him for a portrait session. You don't know what he gives you at the end. He gives you one image, and it starts at, it's like 2 feet by 3 feet. And so he does a session with you, but you don't know what the final thing is going to be until he brings it to you. And he's like, this is it. This is what you paid $10,000 for.
Yeah.
This is what you're getting. And then he unveils it, and it's just this giant, wall art, but it's one image, and it's the one that he picked. And he's like, this is what you're going to, like, that's what you get when you go to him. And that's exactly, like, you can't dicker with him. Like, that's it.
That's what Guy Bourdin did that with Charles Jourdan shoes for 10 years. I mean, they would say, well, we're going to send an art director. Every time we want to send an art director. And he would say, well, if you send the art director, I don't shoot. I don't do it. And he would come back and say, here's your 10 shots for the next campaign. One of them got him in a lot of trouble. He actually had a model lay down, and he drew a chalk outline around her, right? And then he had the shoes there, and he put paint down like blood. And that was going to be Vogue was like, we don't want to run this, but they did. So anyway.
Mike, you'd be surprised that, people come to you because you're the expert.
Yeah.
And if you tell them to stand over here and look over there, they will.
Oh,
even
yeah.
Even if they're paying you.
Yeah, I think you're right. And it's kind of funny. I told Sophie this story earlier on our previous call. I made a 10-year-old cry this weekend because I'm not a tyrant necessarily on set, but I'm very firm. This is what you're doing. You're on my set. You're going to do this. And, I'm not going to be rude about it, but I don't coddle people. So she was on there in front of, 7,200 watt seconds of power and doing a back bend for a creepy picture. And we got through 2 of them, and she was pretty much done. She was done. And, I'm just quiet at this point because I'm like, all right, fine. If mom and dad can talk her into doing one more, great. If not, whatever. It is what it is. But they talked her into doing one more. So she went down there, and we took the last picture, and then she ran off to dad and started crying. It's just like, but I mean, it is what it is, So I just
now
took
kids are different.
girls
Kids
off
are
my
different.
list.
Yeah,
What's
kids
that?
are different. Adults are,
Yeah.
you can push them around. Kids run the show.
No, that's exactly it. I mean, I'm very, I don't know, kids like me, so I generally don't have a problem. But I'm not the type of person. I very rarely will say anything like sweetie or honey, and sugarcoat stuff. Usually it's just, okay, let's get going. I need your feet there. I need your hands there. Let's do this. I mean, just direction, is all it is. And I don't know if that was it or if she had something else going on or who knows, but that's my story for the week. Is I'm like, I made a kid cry,
That's
because
why I
the
shoot
lights were
scotch.
too bright.
I want to see what Sophie has. What you got, Soph?
So I've got one photo for because the new confinement actually hit me on the head a bit this time. So tonight, because we're allowed 1 hour out per day, so I went an hour before the call just to shoot the empty streets and half running around. So, and I felt much better. Can you see it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just yeah.
What is red coming from?
It's that lamp. Sorry, it's that lamp here. It's a red light at the top.
Yeah.
That lamp. Such a cool print.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And I could notice quite a few neon signs tonight. So it's like maybe I can have a collection of windows lights, you know.
We call this making lemonade out of lemons.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You know, it's like, oh, I can't, you know, we're going to not let you go outside. Sophie goes, yeah, I'm going to make pictures anyway.
No, I'm allowed 1 hour a day within 1 kilometer of my living space. So I was within those boundaries, which is interesting because I was moving fast because I was trying to get a workout out of it as well. and I knew, and it's interesting because obviously 1 kilometer is tight, but what can you know, then it's like, what are you going to find?
Well, that's what separates the trained and committed artist from the wannabe, is that the trained and committed artist will find that there's something there. You just have to look for it.
Yep.
And maybe it's outside your bailiwick, so to speak. Maybe it's not, you're a portraitist and you go out and there's nobody on the streets and you can't do portraits, but there's photographs there. I think photographs reveal themselves to us when we're ready for them. When we're ready to see them, they reveal themselves to us. And we have to get our mind still and we have to get our mind focused and things to see them. Yeah,
So, yeah.
that's great. I'm super happy you went out and did. That's a really cool shot. How many did you do on your trip? Your 1 hour?
50, 60.
Wow. Are you on a monopod or a tripod?
Handheld.
Oh, just throw the ISO up so you get a shutter
I
speed?
was 800 ISO and 1/50th of a second at f4.
Right, so there's a lot more light
tried
there than it looks. That's awesome.
I got a lucky, you know, I think I got lucky. It wasn't too shaky. And then I have this other one to share if you want for my Movember project. Let me share it again.
What, Sophie, can you remind us what Movember is?
Of course, Mike.
I think I know, but I forget.
Movember is the equivalent of Pink October for prostate and testicular cancer awareness for men.
And Pink October is
that thing.
for breast cancer?
Breast cancer is Pink October, so it's all my Pink Fluff series.
Okay.
And this is my Movember shot, and beautiful Emma, who's about between 25 and 30 years old, was eager to take part in whatever photo projects I have. And I was late. Anyway, I literally called her on Monday and I said, look, I'm super late. We've only got today or tomorrow to shoot. If you can make it. And she came and she agreed to anything, because when she saw the photo, she was like, oh, I look 10 years older. And she didn't care because it's for a cause, which I think is like fantastic. And this photo is, or another one like that, is going to lock the series, saying it's not your girlfriend's job to look after it, go to the doctors.
That's great.
There's barely no edit on the photo. This is more or less straight out of camera for now.
Is this strobe or natural light?
No, this is the flash.
Okay.
I've got one camera left. I've got one at the bottom hitting a white card under the chair, and I've got a snoot behind her for the shoulder, for that part.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's 3 lights on that.
Cool.
How are you guys doing with the having to go back in lockdown over there? Is everybody?
I'm not going well.
I worry about that may happen over here.
Yeah, it's more apparently it's going like wildfire. It's spreading like wildfire. So obviously I understand we need, but for me I've been working for 3 months in my practice with the mask, with the gel, with the distance. I haven't hugged a patient. I haven't hugged my mom or my friends for months. I've been super careful. And now we're going on lockdown again because, I don't know. It's just, I'm having a hard time with it this time. First time I went.
How long are you on your lockdown for?
Minimum 1 month now. So it's time to make photos.
It's not as strict as the last time.
No,
But it's still strict. Like I can go out and photograph someone in their environment, but they can't come to me.
It's interesting. Has there been a lot of pushback? Are you getting a lot of people that are protesting about the shutdown, or?
Yeah, there are. A lot of people are going to lose their jobs. I think the problem is, the anger is you let the summer run through with all the tourists to come, you know, and now you're and now that it's winter, you're all making it tight again. And the anger is that they carried on suppressing hospital beds during the summer. So we have less hospital beds that we had before March. They did not employ any new staff, medical staff. So the medical staff is already completely, you know, asphyxiated by the whole thing. And that's where the anger is, that they didn't plan anything. They didn't, and now they're just like, oh shit.
Yeah, and the kids are going to school.
So it's like.
The kids are going to school?
Yeah, they are.
So it's so there's like a little.
Kids are good. So everybody's like, well, you just want us to work and no fun, which is.
The statistics that I saw on people getting it, and getting sick from it was basically if they're under like 15 years old, they pretty much, you don't want to say they're totally safe, but they're just not getting it. And the people who, like here in Arizona, we are still 90% of the mortality rate here in Arizona is over 70 years old. We got a lot of people 40 who are getting positive results, but we have nobody that's under 40 that's actually in the hospital getting sick. So it's
no, we have here. I know 3 people sick, young. Yeah, I mean, yeah, young, 40. No, we have now. They're not going to hospital, but they're sick in bed and they're not well.
Oh no! I mean, the kids will get sick, but they're not getting any more sick than if they got the flu or the or something like that. No, when I said sick, I meant like really, in the hospital getting oxygen and all that stuff. So.
Yeah, Anna is saying in the comments that the numbers in Portugal are a nightmare.
Spain, Portugal, and Italy is just terrible right now. So.
And apparently France is going there.
Yeah, I saw a graph for France, and it was like pretty flat, and then like end of August it started, and then it just went up, and it was like, and that's when we've been cut down because we were just really going way faster.
It's crazy. Well, as I posted off topic on Project 52. I was over at Sam's Club and happened to come around the corner where the toilet paper used to be. And I'm like, wait a minute, this has.
There we go again.
I've been here before when they're standing in an empty aisle. And I thought, what the heck? So I grabbed one of the guys that was stocking. I said, what's this? He said, yeah, it started last Thursday. People came in. They limit you to one. That's been this ever since the last time. They limited people to one. He said, but they obviously it was like mom was coming in, dad was coming in, Aunt Sue was coming in. The kids were coming in and buying that one thing, and they just emptied it. And so I went on Amazon. I don't know where I read it, but I thought I read something that Amazon says if you go on Amazon and subscribe to your toilet paper, so you're going to get one thing of toilet paper every 2 months. If you do that, they won't run out for you. You'll always get your supply. And it's just the two of us. So like I'm going, well, how much toilet paper do we need, for God's sakes?
Yeah, how much do you eat? Locked in the house, nothing to do, all this food.
Yep, that's true. I lost 12 pounds.
I think what you're seeing, Don, might be
I found it,
a
Don.
regional thing too, because I told my wife about it. I said, you might want to check toilet paper when you go to the store later. And she says, all right. So she says, oh, they got gobs of it. But what we're out of here.
They had gobs of it last Saturday.
Yeah, well, I know it could be a few. We might be a few days behind. I don't know.
I think people here in Arizona, because it's the same way at Costco. They're empty as well. I think there's a sort of, it's in the air. It's coming. I mean, they did it to Montreal. Teresa, Tuesday was the last day of their 2-week. They didn't even want them to leave the house. I mean, if you had to leave the house for emergency, that was okay, but they didn't want them to eat for 2 weeks, like stay inside. And then Tuesday morning they said, well, we were wrong about 2 weeks. We're going to do it for 2 weeks more. And so the people of Montreal are they're fairly pissed off. So we'll see.
Here in Kansas City, you can't hardly find any Clorox wipe, disinfectant wipes or Lysol spray or anything like that.
Yep. I found gasoline. Gasoline works just fine.
I'm going to have to get my monthly tank of gas here in about a week.
Well, it's worse in other places than it is here because we can have our restaurant. We can eat outside 11 months out of the year.
Yeah.
Say, except when there's a storm coming in. But y'all can't. You can't. Where Sid is, I mean, if you can't sit outside and eat when it's 30 degrees.
Yeah, our Main Street had closed one direction each way on Main Street, and they put in big steel barriers, and they had a bunch of tables outside. But I just got the email that they're going to start having meetings to discuss when they can take that away, and if that's something that we can do. But now everyone's just like, well, and we're becoming a hot spot, which is another thing. So it's like we had a church right down the road. It started with 4 people, and now they've been contact tracing, and it's spread to 40 people. So 40 people have it from this one church thing. It's crazy. But the biggest thing is like the people that don't want the lockdown. We've got a group of parents that have been protesting outside City Hall. They got on the local news because they want the schools to open up. And then we've got another group that's protesting in front of City Hall because they don't want to wear masks because the freedoms are being taken away and because everybody's, we're becoming a totalitarian state because we have to wear masks.
Yeah, that's the first.
So it's hard. It's just like, look, we're like,
look.
And the thing that really is sad is like, I get, like science, they're trying to figure this shit out. And it's, like the good thing about science is that you're learning as you're discovering things.
Yes.
And so just the amount of,
the Daily Mail ran an article about, I think it's French and German doctors are examining the fact that the flu, the regular flu that comes around every year, is practically non-existent. One place in the UK that normally had 8,000 cases only had 400 cases now of the flu. So they're saying, well, how can this be? And of course, the conspiracy nuts are going, well, it's because the hospital gets more money for the COVID. And I have no doubt that probably happens to some extent. But I think the reality is, the simplest answer is we're now washing our hands.
And wearing masks.
People, and putting a mask on when we go to the goddamn Safeway store.
Right.
Could it have been that simple for the last 30 years?
In the UK, also vaccines have been made available a lot earlier for high risk and high in certain areas. So it's been distributed very, very efficiently this year.
28 million people have died from the flu in the last 30 years or something like that, just in what we would call Western advanced civilizations, So could it have been so simple as to put a goddamn mask on?
Or just wash your hands.
Or wash your hands?
The amount of people that just don't have good hygiene.
I get it. I never washed my hands. I mean, I would do it on Saturdays if I thought they were dirty from the week. But
whether it needed it or not, Saturday.
Exactly. Well, yeah. Sometimes I'd look and I go,
That's
They're
right.
fine.
That's
These babies. Why would I waste the water? But it's just amazing to me. So my thought was, if there is a silver lining here, it would be a very small one, but if there's a silver lining, maybe we've learned a little something. We were talking about coming out of full lockdown in Arizona, and I told my wife, first of all, I hate masks. I just hate them. But I
Who
wear
likes them?
Huh?
Who likes it?
But I wear it. I wear it
Exactly.
because I haven't gotten sick since the time I was really sick in March. I haven't gotten sick. I'm like, okay, I'll do that. In stores and stuff, what I am bristling at is now Unsplash has joined up with this company that makes masks, and their whole thing is everybody's out hiking with masks and they're biking with masks. Now no, don't want to go there. We don't need to go there.
right.
But I don't have a problem.
I think if you're on your own, go biking without your mask. If you're on a group, you might want to have your mask.
If you're all sitting around the campfire, then be safe. It's not that hard. Wash your hands, be safe, and don't go up slobbering all over people.
You guys have like these really cool fashion masks.
Well, that's
like
the thing.
we have glitter and
that's the thing that's happening. That's this mask company. I mean, they are heavy into selling masks. They're a multi-million-dollar company now selling masks. They're going to do everything they can to sell masks for the rest of their existence.
I splashed out.
Can I share a picture on this subject?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go to
This is fabulous, Sophie. I love it.
Right?
Yeah.
Last
Oh, wow.
shot. Oh, that's cool.
Look at that.
I was commissioned by this family to do a portrait for them a couple of weeks ago. I've only been shooting outdoors. So this was on their deck, which is in Marin.
That's
wow.
Under the redwood trees. And there's one thing that I did that actually made this portrait, which I'm so glad I did it. So it was east facing, and we shot really quite late, maybe 5 p.m. So it was, it was getting darker, but I wasn't expecting the sky behind to be so bright, and there was really nothing I could do about it. If I'd have gone down, any darker, then it would have just been way too dark everywhere else. So I had two lights with me. I had 2 strobes. One was on a boom and overhead over the family. And then the other one was hidden behind that redwood tree. And I just didn't put any modifier on it. I just blasted it out. And it thankfully lightened up those trees because they were pretty much black in the background otherwise.
Right here?
And I think that's just what makes the photo. I did have it. Cool. It did come through the railings a bit there. I darkened that down a bit in Photoshop.
Very cool. It gives depth.
Yep.
Yeah, you can't tell that you had.
Pardon?
It looks very natural. You can't tell you had to use the strobe behind them.
Oh, that's
How
good.
tall is that mother?
She's quite tall. I don't know.
I was going to say, because she's got really long legs.
Yeah, that's a crazy pose, isn't it? That's fantastic. It's a dynamic.
It's a great picture. It's awesome.
Yeah.
She's
the
awesome
first thing that caught my eye. I was like, how tall is she?
She's wearing pretty spiky high heels as well.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
Pretty tall.
Which makes her walk very carefully on that deck with the
Yes.
Hey, Dawn, I was going to tell
Did you
you.
make some without the mask as well, Sam?
No, she wanted the masks on.
Okay.
I mean, it was part of the thing that she, this has meaning for her, personal meaning. I've done several portraits with her before. I mean, when I did her business portrait several years ago, she was channeling basically Helena Bonham Carter in the Fight Club. She had all the makeup messy, and she was holding a dead tulip. And she was a VP of a huge games company. So she's pretty high up, and she's pretty, she's not just normal. She's like her own person.
That's great.
So she basically what she said to her kids.
A certain level of income to build a house around a redwood tree.
Well, she's just renting this property actually.
No.
Probably still applies.
But she wanted her kids to dress up however they wanted, but they had to wear masks. And they were allowed to pose however they wanted. So the girl in the dark pink, she just stood there and refused to move.
Does she got a Harry Potter wand in her hand?
It could be. I'm not quite
or is
sure
it-
what it was.
That's a great
Very
shot, though.
cool.
Yeah, that's a great shot.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I'm glad you all like it. And I have some other stuff I could
You
share.
know what,
with me.
Sam?
Hmm?
I love the white sky.
Yeah.
You love the what?
I love the white sky.
Yeah, it's okay.
I
It's
don't.
okay.
I don't have any problem with white skies. I don't. I mean, it's just that's what it looked like there. I think it's very attractive, and I think if it was dark blue or if you had sunset coming through, it might not be as strong as the one you have here.
Yeah. No, I'm really happy with the image in the end. So that was good.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I had to share.
How big of a print did they get?
But you know, she doesn't want prints either.
Oh, okay.
She doesn't like prints. She just likes it for her personal. It's just like a personal memory of the time, you know, and it has meaning to her as well. So the other thing I wanted to share was I just took part in this scavenger hunt, and we weren't allowed to do any post-processing or editing whatsoever. It was straight out of the camera challenge. So me being me is like, and it was called Back to Basics, and I'm like, I'm not basic. You kidding? So I was like, how can I create things that people won't believe I didn't use Photoshop for these images? So basically that was my own motivation. So these are the 10 images that I took, 9 of which I'm quite fond of. So I did long exposures with motion blur. I did high-speed sync with water, and they're all self-portraits. I did a double exposure. So I don't know if you want to look at these.
Yeah, go through them. Go through them real quick, yeah.
Oh, sorry. And they're all self-portraits, which is a whole other complication added on top of everything. So this one was a 6-second long exposure where I started off in the pose, and then triggered the flash, and then I moved backwards. And this gives you the effect of having a motion blur trail behind you. And if you're wondering why I didn't use second curtain sync, it's because I wouldn't be able to control where I ended up.
That's absolutely
By
correct.
going backwards, you can control your end, your pose.
That's why I never use, I rarely use after rear curtain sync, because it's this part of you that I need to control. The rest of it's blur.
Yeah.
That's
So
cool.
it becomes more controlled and less random. This one, I honestly I went to the shower 4 times before I got this shot. I've written some blog posts. These 2 already have blog posts, which you can read on my blogs. They're very long blog posts going through into my process, a bit geeky. So this was basically high-speed sync under the shower, and I had a cup of water and I was throwing it up, and I had a remote timer in a plastic bag. So I would sort of throw it up and then wait till it was suspended in air and try and match all those things together. And I had a blue, color is very important to me. So in not being able to use Lightroom or Photoshop or anything to do any color work, I really had to think about the color as I was going into the shots. So I wanted this to have a watery feel and feel blue. And so I had a blue gel on my strobe, which was in a plastic bag on a boom arm over the shower. I was sitting on a stool. Again, I've done a blog so you can see the behind the scenes.
Read the blog posts. They're amazing with the process and everything.
So the next one might give you a shock. So this is a double exposure. I shot the thread on black velvet because it doesn't reflect the light as much. It took a bit of a while to get it all lined up. The idea was that it was kind of inspired by Karen, the Karen meme, and like middle-aged women should keep their mouths shut. It was a little bit inspired by that. I actually had a friend reach out to me this week, and she bought a print for this for a really decent amount of money. So, which I was totally surprised at and shocked, because this is my completely middle-aged, untouched, blemished skin right here. If Anna's still on the call, she'd be proud of me. So that was that one.
Oh, the needle going through the eyeball gives me the heebie-jeebies.
Yeah.
Any other place but the eyeball
I know. When I had that idea, I'm like, that's a good idea. I'll do that.
makes my eye water.
So this one, the coffee one, this is for coffee. This one I think I'm the most proud of because I really worked on the color and the lighting. I wanted the color to feel like coffee. So I gelled my lights. And I even bought a brown sheet just to make it work. Obviously bought a giant coffee cup. It's not actually coffee in there because this cup is so heavy. I wouldn't have been able to hold it for a self-portrait. So it's actually brown gel. And I have got an edited version of this where I cleaned up the coffee levels so that it was more smooth. I had little incense pellets inside the cup which were causing the smoke. And I was doing this during the wildfires when we had all the windows shut. And then I was like smoking out my bedroom. It wasn't the healthiest shoot, let's say that. So that was that one. This one, the word was broken. So pretty simple. I taped some mirror tiles together and then I smashed them all. I don't believe in superstition, so I'm not going to have any bad luck. And then 2 lights, one with an orange gel, one with a blue gel. I wanted it to feel sad, like I was, brokenhearted, or there was something within me that was broken as well as the mirrors. And I felt that the color blue would reflect feeling blue and feeling broken. So that's why I made those choices. This one was, the word was round. Pretty simple. This is like a dress with a circular skirt. Simple and kind of simple, but actually very difficult as a self-portrait because that's a dress. So when I sit down, if I make any movement, the dress kind of becomes imperfectly round. And it had a petticoat underneath. So I didn't need to just get the skirt, I needed to get the underskirt round as well. And then I control so I had the camera on a boom arm overhead. I controlled the camera via my iPad and Cam Ranger. I can only look at it with my glasses on. So you got to imagine me setting up a shot, trying to make my skirt circular behind me where I can't see, using my Cam Ranger on the iPad, and then getting it all perfect. And then I'd have to take my glasses off, balance them on the iPad, and then kind of shove them away from me across the concrete floor so I don't want to drop them. And in so doing that, then I would also mess up the shape of my skirt. So then I'd have to try and blindly rearrange it. So I actually, I had to do this 2 days in a row, and I had to do it many, many times before I got one that I really liked. But this one is actually natural light, and I just found this part in my apartment where the natural light is just perfect. I mean, it's just perfect, but I can't really shoot anyone from that angle as a matter of course, because it's such an awkward angle to be in. But it's coming from the skylight and my head is facing towards a dark area, which just gives this beautiful, beautiful fall off, which is okay. Okay, this
awesome.
one is, I wanted to try a false perspective.
I like that one.
So this one took me like 6 hours to build this out of all the metal in my house. So I put on a Cam Ranger, you can put an overlay, you can lay it, you can bring it into the software. So I had like a diamond-shaped overlay, so I could just see using my Cam Ranger where to line up all these things. So I haven't written the blog post for this one, but there will be a blog post which has I have got a video of moving around it in 3D, so you're about to see what that looks like. I was a little disappointed in my lighting for this one, but it's too late now because I'm not going to rebuild it.
That's crazy. Well done.
This one word was egg. And I just had this crazy idea to be dressed as a fried egg. There's a blog post about that one. You can read about it. The next one I'm just going to go really quickly because I really messed it up. It was the word path, but I didn't have enough light in the scene. So I would actually like to go back and reshoot that one. And then the final one was the word boat. And again, I did a false perspective. I also haven't blogged this one yet, but again, I have a video which takes you through the scene so you can see what it looks like in 3 dimensions. And this one was kind of a joke because the whole theme of the scavenger hunt was to do it without any Photoshop. So I just kind of made that into a joke. So that was it.
Excellent.
Really cool.
It is nice to see conceptual work. Like, just good
That's
job.
it.
Thank you. And of course, this is all done in my house. You know, I'm pretty much here in California. We've been probably more locked down than anyone else in the country. I mean, you can go out, but I've just found that I don't need to go out because I can pretty much occupy myself inside most of the time. So I haven't been going out a lot. So
Just when they got to the point where they could go out, they couldn't go out because smoke was everywhere.
Yeah. Well, that was happening whilst I was doing a lot of these ones. Actually, how do I share?
That'd be a great postcard mailer packet.
But it's really fun to see somebody using technical skills as a I guess a set of parameters, because without using Photoshop, she created photographs that certainly look like they were done in Photoshop.
Yay, that was my goal.
Yeah.
From
Absolutely.
pure photographic technique. That's really great. That's awesome.
I'd make a card describing the process and send the packet and the card into a photo editor. I mean, that's really impressive. That whole.
I think it would be a novel, Mark. I don't think it would be a card. I think it would be a novel.
If you haven't seen her blog posts, Mark, they're huge. What I would do if you wanted to do something commercially with it, Sam, is to make a postcard with all the little shots on it and say these were done without Photoshop, and then link them to your blog posts on the back. Each blog post has a URL on the back, or create a home page for those blog posts alone and send them to that page and they could click on it, because I think you'd get a lot of, oh hell, photo stoppers would do a story on you.
Yeah.
I was thinking of doing a press release, actually.
Yeah, you could do, there's nothing wrong with press releases. Would you be interested in having a story in photo stoppers, or what's the other one?
Petapixel.
Petapixel?
I don't know, maybe. I think I need to just do a few things to my website in the next couple of weeks first. I was thinking about doing a press release. I was just trying to get a few ducks in a row, or maybe I don't even need to get the ducks in a row. Maybe I just...
Well, if you do, let me know. I wouldn't mind writing up the article, sending it out to them.
Okay, that would be great. Thank you.
Enjoyable to do, yeah.
But it's a really great challenge to do. It really inspired me. I guess being told that you can't do something is one of my biggest drivers. So, maybe something for P52 in the future.
Sure. Are you familiar with the photographer Jerry Uelsman?
No.
Jerry Uelsman, Uelsmann. Let's go to his images real quick here. I'll share this.
Prepare to have your mind blown.
Jerry Uelsman does stuff like this. That's film, folks. His darkroom had 12 enlargers. 12 enlargers right in a row. And he would set these negatives up and burn and dodge them into this type of thing. There's no digital here whatsoever at all.
That's very cool.
So again, it's that mastery of the technique, and not being constricted by what somebody else says you can't do. So, Sam, I think you'd really enjoy his work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I've seen that one. I've definitely seen before.
Yeah,
so.
I think this one's really famous. The floating the floating tree, the floating island, and the pea pod below it. So yeah, very cool. Super having you guys, folks. We're gonna let everybody run off the rest of their day. Have a great rest of your day. Sam, thank you so much. Carmen, thank you. Sophie, thank you. Sid, of course. And Mike.
And be safe. Next Tuesday is going to be crazy. Everybody be safe.
All right. What's happening on Tuesday?
It's
It's election day.
It's election day.
Day.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I was scared. I mailed my ballot in, and on the 12th of October, and it left France on the 14th. It got to the U.S. on the 15th, and then I heard, and then there was nothing. And it was like yesterday. I wrote 2 days ago to my voting place, and they said, "Oh yeah, you guys from abroad, there was a glitch in the system. You didn't get confirmation, blah blah blah." And I'm like, "But we did get your ballot on the 19th."
Oh,
So
I just love hearing there's a glitch in the system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a glitch in the matrix.
For the foreign people now, in the past when I voted, I do get an email saying, "We have received your ballot." And before I could check the status, I could put in my name and you could see where in the process the ballot was, that had been processed, had been received, processed, and so forth.
My wife 2 hours yesterday to check the CFR. We walked them in and dropped them in to see if they'd been counted. 2 hours. The website kept kicking her out because there was a glitch in the system.
Yes. Oh, so this time they sent to me, "Oh, this year there was a glitch with all the people that live abroad, that it's not working," kind of thing. And I'm like,
Amazon does about 10,000 more transactions a day than voting will ever do, and they don't have glitches in the system.
Yeah.
Maybe they need to hire some IT people who can, how hard can it be?
You talk about event planners that get, these huge concerts together, or they move concerts from place to place and all the logistics, and they get it done in no time, in a whisper. Yeah. And
so where's Taylor Swift for the concert? Oh, there was a glitch. We we lost her somewhere outside of Albuquerque. It's just I think her bus took a left. We don't know where the hell she is. All right, guys, everybody have a great one.
Have a good one.
Stay really safe.
Be safe, everybody.
Yeah.
We'll see you all next time. Take care.